We are live. Hi, I'm Vanessa. I'm the Senior Education Specialist at the Imagination Foundation, reporting here from our LA office. And we're happy today to do our second Imagination On Air webinar. And today we're with one of our amazing partners, Ozobot. And we will be covering all elements of using Ozobot in creative play, as many of our chapters and have been doing with their groups of kids globally, and many other people around the world, of course. So we're hoping that this will be a really informational session for everyone. We're going to talk a lot about how Ozobot applies to learning, and how students are engaging with it in creative play, and specifically looking at some activities around STEM learning. So today we are joined by two members of the team from Ozobot. We have with us Julia Kroyan. She is the VP of Software and Learning, and Tara Reynen, and she's the Education Account Manager. And they will be demoing and talking about Ozobot and also sharing some really wonderful resources. And also Smeeta Singh, she's the Director of Operations for the Imagination Foundation, and she helped cultivate this relationship with Ozobot and the Imagination Foundation about a year ago. So I'm going to let her talk about that for a minute and introduce herself.
Hello, I'm excited to be here on our second webinar, and super excited to have Ozobot, one of our great partners, with us today. We started a partnership with Ozobot about a year ago, and we kicked it off with what we call the Ozobot Cardboard Challenge back in September of 2015. And that was an opportunity where we launched our partnership with Ozobot and showed the world how Ozobot can really fit very well into the work that we do here at the Imagination Foundation, specifically with the Cardboard Challenge. So we're really excited that you could join us today, and stay tuned for some really great tips from Ozobot on how their products can help you bring creative play to kids in your community.
Great. Thanks, Smeeta. Okay, great. Julia, Tara, I'll let you take it away. And if we have participants online who are asking some questions, we might interject and address those questions. And if you who are watching, please type in your questions and we'll get to them.
Hi, everyone. I'm Tara. I'm just going to go over a few things about how to start using Ozobot if you do have Ozobot and your chapters, or if you're thinking about getting some more Ozobots. I know there's a lot of questions about markers to use and paper and where to find additional resources online. So I'll go over some of those with you, and then a little later Julia's going to go over some of the lessons that you can find online. So the first thing to know about Ozobot is that it's our tiny little programmable robot, and it teaches kids coding and programming through colors. So there's two different ways that you can program Ozobot. The first is through markers and paper, and I'm going to go over that first, kind of show you what you need to do to start programming with Ozobot. So a lot of people ask, what markers do we use? Are there any special markers? No, there aren't special markers at all. We use Crayolas, we use Sharpies. We do have our own, let me show our markers right here. These are our Ozocode markers. We created these more just out of convenience for everybody. We do need Ozobot to follow a thicker line when you're drawing your mazes. So we like to use the chisel tip. So that's what we created, a marker with a chisel tip. But as you know, Sharpies also have a chisel tip as well. So you can go ahead and use those. The only other recommendation that we use or we suggest with our markers is that you use a lighter green or blue color. Sometimes these blue and greens can be a little dark, and then Ozobot won't be able to read the color code correctly. So we do say to use more of a pastel blue or green, especially with the Sharpies, or just get our Ozocode markers, and it's a little bit easier. So the first thing I'm going to show you is I actually drew a maze with my own poster board and markers right here. So these are little Ozobots right here in the corner. I hope you guys can see these. Okay. So the first thing that I want to do whenever I start using my Ozobot is to calibrate it. You have to calibrate it to the specific paper or digital surface that you're using so that it can read the background and the colors. So I'll take my Ozobot and I'll actually hold down on the power button until I see it, a white light flicker. Once it flickers, I'm going to let go of the power button. I'm going to set it on the circle, on this black circle. It's going to move up and then it's going to flash green. When it flashes green, that means it's calibrated. So with each Ozobot, I'm sure if you have Ozobots, you've noticed when you open the package, there's a sample calibration card that comes with it. You'll see here that I actually just drew a black dot with my marker right here, a little bigger than my Ozobot. And so this actually is what we recommend doing with all the different paper that you're using. I have a specific poster board that I'm using right here. You can also use computer paper to draw on, but you just want to make sure that you're actually calibrating to that exact paper so that Ozobot is reading that background. So once it's been calibrated, I go ahead and I just turn it on, and I set it on the track, and you'll see Ozobot's following the lines. When it reaches the different colors, you'll notice it's turning red right here. If I put it on this blue line, then it turns blue. It's letting you know that it's reading those different colors. So when I come to different color codes, like this one back up here, there's a little code. I don't know if you can see it, but it's green, blue, green. So every time Ozobot reads over that color sequence, it has been pre-programmed to recognize that sequence as a certain command. So this command is actually really interesting. It tells Ozobot to jump forward straight off its line until it finds another line, and then once it finds it, it's going to keep running on that line. So this is just kind of like the basics of how you would start creating a maze with Ozobot. Let me actually show you where the different color codes are so that you guys can start creating your own mazes. I'm going to bring this back up. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you now so that you can see where to go on the website. Okay. Hopefully you guys can see that now.
I'm just going to chime in and ask our viewers to type in the sidebar if they're having trouble hearing.
All right. Okay. Are you guys able to see it now? Okay, perfect. So the first thing I'm going to do is come up to the top here. I'm just on ozobot.com. I'm going to click on play, and then I am going to scroll down a little bit, and you'll see there's different sections. Draw and play. You can print and play different games and maps. So I'm going to go ahead and click on draw right up here at the top. And it's going to take me to a section that says learn more about the Ozo codes. I'm going to click on that and then just scroll down a little bit, and I am going to click on download the Ozo code reference sheet. So this sheet shows you all the different codes that Ozobot is pre-programmed to recognize as different commands. You'll see there is a speed section right here. We have snail dose, which is very slow speed, all the way up to nitro boost, which is going to make Ozobot zoom off every time it reads that code. We have different directions here. Go left, go straight. You saw the jump straight line that we had just showed you on my my map. We have timers. We have some cool moves here. The tornado is really popular among the kids. And then some win-exit codes up here. Every time Ozobot gets to the end of the line and reads this, it's going to do a little happy dance. So this is just the reference sheet. The kids, you can print this out, give this to the kids. They just start drawing all over paper. Our favorite thing to do is roll out a giant I guess butcher paper and just let the kids start drawing on it and kind of using their own imagination and seeing what they come up with. Some other resources that I want to show you on the website. I'm going to go ahead and go to the education section here at the top, and I'm going to scroll down just a little bit where I get to, let me see, where am I going? Here we go. Getting started with the Ozobot STEM program. So you're just going to click on this link here, learn more about how to get started. And this is going to take me to this great getting started page with resources and tips. So it will just get you going with introducing Ozobot to your students. The first thing that you probably want to download is the teacher's guide. I'm going to go ahead and click on this. This will give you kind of a quick intro on Ozobot, how to introduce it to your students, both on digital and on physical surfaces with markers and paper or iPads. And you can just read that through yourself, kind of get used to how to charge Ozobot, how to tune the motors, how to take care of your Ozobot. And then I'm going to go out of the teacher guide and go to our Ozobot tip sheet now. This is a great guide to just print. You can keep it for yourself or you can give it to your students. It goes over the calibration, which I just went over on the paper, line thickness, which is really important. You'll see here if the line's too thin, Ozobot won't read it. It will just kind of stop. If it's too thick, then Ozobot might wander through the line, so we want to do it about this length or this width right here. It will also show you not to put the lines too close together, not to do crazy turns or sharp turns with the lines. It will be difficult for Ozobot to follow that. And then it also gives helpful tips on drawing the codes within the lines. A lot of people will draw the codes on a corner, like this right here, and Ozobot won't be able to read it and turn at the same time. So people put their code there like, oh, Ozobot's not reading it, I don't understand what's going on, and they're trying to calibrate. Well, it's on that corner right there. So you want to place it on a nice straight line. You don't want to place it in the middle of an intersection. So this is a great guide if you're having an issue with the code. Just come to this and you're like, oh, my code's in the wrong place. So you can draw over it with a black line and then put a code somewhere else. So I'm going to exit out of this sheet again. This is another place where you can find the Ozocode reference sheet. So if I just download that, you can print this and give it to the kids. And I won't go over Ozoblockly getting started yet, but here's a calibration tip sheet as well. So this goes over the calibration on paper, and then this is the digital calibration if you're going to do it on a computer or a tablet. The last thing we have here is a log sheet. A lot of people overlook this, but this is great if you have a number of Ozobots within your session or your chapter and you've assigned them to certain groups or to certain students. So you can keep track of who has which Ozobot. They're pretty tiny, so it's easy to kind of pocket and walk away with. So this is great to help you kind of keep track of where all of your Ozobots are. Okay. So I think that is kind of like just a good overview of where the different materials are that will help you get started. I'm going to go ahead and switch it on over to Julia, and she's going to show you a little bit about the different lessons that we already have available.
Okay. So let me share my screen. Can you? Oh, okay, I think now we got it. Let me share my screen and show you where you can get all kinds of ideas about what kind of activities and projects you can do with Ozobot. So we go back to the Ozobot education page, and you can jump right here to the lesson library. It says lessons, but it has all kinds of activities. So let me scroll down here a little bit, and you can see they're grouped. So what you will probably want to start with, just to get your kids used to Ozobot, are maybe the workshops. They're pretty fun to do, and they have a couple of these mazes that they have to fill out, do different missions, get Ozobot back home or over the river, and do things like that. So your kids can get used to using the Ozocodes before they go and try to do things by themselves. Now, there's also the Ozobot basic training. This one is kind of introducing your kids also to Ozobot, but it's a little bit more academic. But if you want to have a little bit more academic background, it's still a fun lesson. The first one, for example, is talking all about robotics. So that's a nice thing to do as well. Now, for more activities, let's just check here the activities. One thing, we always have different content for a different time of the year. So we had an Easter egg hunt, which is pretty fun to do any time of the year. But we have this Ozobot Cube challenges that was actually sent to us by one of the teachers that is using Ozobot. And it's a really nice, fun game for the kids. Have to assemble it themselves out of paper, and they have to make little cubes that are kind of like dice. So they have to do a little bit of assembly first, and then they can play a nice game. So let me show you back on the education website. We also have here the contests and events, and that is a really great page to also get some ideas of what to do. The contests are always really fun to do. Let me scroll down. We just finished the Ozobot vacation contest, and that is a really... We had so many entries of kids doing all kinds of different vacations for Ozobot. They were planning a lot of things. So let me just show you one of them, one or two of them, so you can see what kind of work got into that. Let me switch over. To show you the video. So this is Ozobot is going on a vacation around the world, and you see kids did it with music and everything, so it's really kind of fun. And Ozobot is running around and is following the line, doing some codes, and they really assembled everything. And now it's going to New York, so that's really fun. Let me show you another one that is using all recycled materials. So that is a little bit reminded me of the cardboard challenge. Let me show you that. Okay. Let's see. Let me start that. So that's another video. You can see Ozobot is at a hotel, and that's one girl that did her vacation also, that they were going to plan for the summer, and stopping by at Starbucks. And they're using all recycled materials for all of that, so that's really fun to do as well. And later on, I'm going to show you the next contest that we have. That's also really fun to do. So let me go back to the website real quick and show you here what we have here. You can also see the webinars that we have. They give, if you want to join here, we always have webinars every 3 to 4 weeks. Different topics. This was the last 2 weeks ago, the webinar, just about introduction to students. We have sometimes webinars on how to do the programming part. So there are different topics. You can always check back on the website and sign up here. There is a special tab on webinars where we are going to put all the recordings. They are not up here yet, but they're going to be starting end of this week. We're going to have the recordings here, so you can always check back here as well. And I think that's all about the markers and paper. So let me get it back to Vanessa.
Actually, Julia, can you or Tara go back to the one of the viewers is wondering if you can show the page that the activities were on. Maybe she means the...
Oh, the activities.
The lesson. Yeah.
Lesson.
Okay. So here in the lesson library, We have the lessons by type. You can look through them by different different groupings, but we have by type. And then if you just click on activities, it shows all the different activities that we have right now. We're going to have a couple of more probably next week, so there are always new ones that are coming in. And if anybody has great ideas, please share it with us. We always want to know what everybody is up to, so we can let everybody else know as well.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Thanks. I don't know if you guys can see the question in the sidebar too. It's more of a comment, but one of our chapter leaders, Miriam, said that she's working with third graders, so she created her own JPEG of the reference sheet and opened it up in Paint and then redid the names of the codes and printed out the code sheet for the kids.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
great.
Cool. Okay, so, okay, great. So let's see, where are we here? So we wanted to, you guys went over calibration and all this stuff. Do you guys want to talk a little bit about some other specific examples of how you've seen it used to meet, you know, curriculum and, you know, classroom teachers?
Yeah,
maybe around some STEM or STEAM education.
Yeah, of course. When I go out to the conferences, one of the things we do is encourage all of the classrooms to submit their lessons. A lot of people don't, but when I'm out and about and talking to a lot of the educators, they love sharing the different lessons they've created themselves, and they're implementing them into their classrooms. So just a few examples are, we had a science teacher who had their students, or they actually drew an outline of a body, and then all the different organs of the, the reproductive system, and then Ozobot had to travel through the body to all the correct different organs and go out to the very end, the trash chute. So that was how they kind of learned that. And then there was another history teacher who came up to me, and this was before we even kind of thought about Ozobot for history or art, but they were teaching the Civil War, and they used Ozobot to draw out the battleground, and then they had the kids correctly navigate their Ozobot, depending on what side they were, through the battleground. And they even dressed them up in little uniforms too. There was another teacher who said that she did a lesson on predator versus prey, and they had one Ozobot that was predator, one that was prey. Another who used Ozobot to recreate the water cycle. So teachers are really getting, you know, creative with these different lessons and what they're teaching in their classrooms.
And then actually, let me go back to the lessons just to show. We have a couple of interesting ones. There is the Ozobot theater lesson. Let me see, and we have the same fairy tale lesson also. Just go in, and here you can see like a more detailed view. If there are standards that are covered, we usually put them here as well. I think this is a purely programming one. This is also really fun because kids have to create their own fairy tale and then dress up Ozobot to match the characters, to program Ozobot to do the play actually. And we have these. I don't know if you can see it. These are like the DIY skins. So they are completely blank, but they can be taken off. So it's not the Ozobot that is being decorated, but kids can decorate the Ozobots, and that's already fun enough if they don't even get to the programming part. You can put stickers on them, glue something to this. We could usually just go out and get some stickers and little sunshades and those kind of things. It's a really fun thing to do.
A lot of people ask me where to find those stickers too. I think they think that we actually create them and sell them. We don't. Most of the characters for the Ozobots that you see on our website were created from materials that we just purchased at craft stores, Target, Michael's. We put little hair on them using like little feathers. There's different objects that you can create, like you were mentioning the little sunglasses that you can just kind of glue on. You can glue on little ribbons.
Knit hats for it.
Yeah. So you can get really creative. And you can buy stickers wherever and then just stick them on your Ozobot. I know a lot of teachers will sometimes use the skins to distinguish the different Ozobots. They name their Ozobots. One teacher had R2-D2 as one, Bumblebee as another, so they kind of decorated them according to those names that they gave them.
Oh, that's really cool. I love that. Do you have examples where teachers are using the Ozobots as you were saying, like specific characters in plays and things like that? Are the students giving voice to the Ozobots and personality? Or are they doing some sort of like, you know, verbal representation of the Ozobot?
We don't have any videos of that. We probably there usually during the contest there's a lot on Twitter actually that is being shared.
Yeah.
So there we usually have some things on there. But for the theater play, actually I haven't seen any video of that. So that would be interesting.
Yeah. Well, that's great. There's so much that can be done. You have kind of a new version of Ozobot, correct? Yeah. Because most of our chapter leaders, this is not what they will have right now, but could someday. And you can talk maybe a little bit about how it's evolved.
Yeah. I can go over a little bit. Let me just transfer screens again back to my screen. Okay, so you should be able to hear me. Let me share my screen. Not yet. What now? There we go. Okay. So our newest model is called Ozobot Bit. I know that all of the chapters do have Ozobot 1.0. Bit looks exactly like 1.0. If you had them side by side, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference, and they're also the same colors. What we did was we wanted to keep Ozobot the same size and the same look, but we wanted to have a second way to program it, not just through markers or paper. So what we did is we kind of upgraded the 1.0, created Bit, and then that way we now can program it through the computer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to our Ozoblockly website. So Ozoblockly is our version of Scratch or Blockly. I don't know if some of you are using Scratch already, but basically it's a block interface. So you just drag and drop blocks into a program. This is our main page of Ozoblockly right here. I am going to click on Get Started. I'm just going to bring you into the editor and show you what it looks like. It's really simple to do, even if you haven't been using Scratch or Blockly. It's really easy to pick up on. I had never used it before, and when I got in here, it was fairly simple to navigate. So let me just let it load a little bit here. Why it's taking so long? Let's see. You might have just lost.
While you're doing
yeah, I have it open actually. So
okay, we're actually going to switch over to Julia's because she has it up already. Okay.
Okay, are we good? Okay,
there we go.
so let me just screen share the entire screen, I think.
Okay. So here's our Ozobot editor. So I'm just going to delete this entire code right here. I'm going to bring it over to the delete section. Oops. I'm just going to delete them. Oh, that's right. Okay, so this is our editor right here. You'll see in the top left-hand corner, there are different categories. We can switch between 1, 2, 3, and 4 levels. One you'll use with more like kindergarten, first, second grade. These are for students who don't know how to read yet or are just learning how to read, so all of the blocks are actually pictures. As you progress through 2, 3, and 4, you'll see it goes from beginner all the way up to advanced. Advanced you probably would be using with 6th grade and above. This could go all the way up to high school. You'll see there's more categories right here. There's logic, loops, math. I'm going to go ahead and show you 2. I'm a little more well-versed in 2. We have 4 different categories here: movement, light effects, timing, and loops. And what you simply have to do is click on your category, pick your movement. So say I want my Ozobot to zigzag. I'll grab that, drag it, and drop it here into my editor and just set it down. And then say I want it to now move forward after it zigzags. I'll grab that block and then connect it to this block right here, and then I can change whether I want it to go forward, backward, how many steps I want it to take, what speed I want it to move at, and then you can just keep adding different effects. I can put in a rainbow effect. I can make it wait a couple of seconds. Let's see, it stops for 5 seconds, and then I can make it repeat. And so you just drag and drop these blocks together and create your program. So once I've finished creating this program, you can actually load it to your Ozobot. I can't show you it right now, but I can take you to our little short tutorial video that we have on our main page. So if you just go to ozoblockly.com and you click on Watch Tutorial, this is our video. I'll go ahead and click play and turn on the volume for you. So this is just 2 minutes. It will show you how to get to Ozoblockly. You'll see it's you click on Get Started. This is kind of going over exactly what I just showed you, dragging and dropping your categories and movements into the editor. So once I'm going to speed this up a little bit. Once I've created my program, then the next step is to calibrate your Ozobot. So you'll see we're turning up the brightness on our screen. And then just like I calibrated the Ozobot to the paper, I'm going to hold down the power button until it flashes that white light. And then once it does, I'm going to let go of the power button and hold it up to the screen. And then once it reads the background of the screen, it will either flash green or red. Green means that it's been calibrated successfully, and then red means just to recalibrate it, that it didn't read the background properly. So then once you're done calibrating, the Ozobot will turn off. So you just turn it back on again, and then you hit the load button. So you'll see we hit the load button on the screen, and then the way that the program is actually transferred is through those flash codes on the screen. That's really unique because you don't have to plug in the Ozobot to USB. It's just actually reading those color sequences and telling it what to do. So once it's done reading the program, it will be flashing green throughout the entire sequence, and then you just simply click on the power button and Ozobot starts to move. So you'll see it was moving there without even having to follow a line. So this is what's new. This is what our Ozobot bit does, and this is, I think Ozoblockly is mainly what the teachers are using in the classrooms now, a little more so than just the markers and paper, especially if they're an older student.
Now, one way to kind of have a fun introduction to it is through the Ozoblockly games, and I think you get there from this website. So you're on the Ozoblockly website. And if you go all the way down, there are the Ozoblockly games. And right now we have 2 games available. So these are the Shape Tracer games. You just let me show you real quick. And these games are a good introduction. Most of them you don't even have to have an Ozobot to play. So this is, I just did the first level. It always tells you when you get in there and you haven't done it, this pops up. So it tells you what to do. And the goal is to get this Ozobot, that is the simulation Ozobot, to follow this line with exactly the right LED color. And here are your options of what you can use. And you just put together your program and click Run. And this was the right one, so it shows you you've done well, and you can do the next level. And like this, you can, in a fun way, just go through and get used to how to program with Ozobot. And now, what can you do with this? Well, there again, if you go back to the lesson library, there are also Blockly lessons. But really fun way is still the contests, which you can do either with markers or paper or with Ozoblockly. And the next contest that we have running throughout the whole summer is actually the Summer Games contest. So we have a little example for that. Let me just pull that up. So this is kind of, we thought about like a gymnastics floor routine that Ozobot is the Olympian that has to do this floor routine. And here you can see this is just with markers. This is just an example of how to design it. And kids can fill out the markers and let Ozobot do some of maybe the interesting moves, like the tornado or backspin or things like that. Go fast, go slow. And they get used to this, maybe they can then do a different Olympic discipline. Or they could do the closing or the opening ceremony with assembling the whole stadium and doing a little show. Or we also have another option that we could do. This is the same floor routine, but this one could do with programming. So it's really up to how the kids want to actually pursue that. So they can do the same thing 2 different ways, once with markers and once with programming. They can still decorate everything even if they do the programming part. And I already I printed this out and I pre-programmed the Ozobot to do like a little routine. So I'm just going to double click and turn it on, and now it's going to execute the program. So I did a little bit of movement and light changes, and this is with a mode 3, so it's not really that complicated yet, but you can make it as complicated as you want. So different color changes, and that's just a short program. There's a long program too. And you won't find this contest yet on the website, so we're just going to announce it next week. But if you go back to the contest and events page, you'll find all the instructions there. We try to make it easy, tell you all the things that you would need and how to have your kids do that contest. Okay. And I think that's all we've had. If there are any questions, actually.
That's really fun. We don't have a question, but there's someone who mentioned, I think when you were talking about the Ozobot Goes on Vacation contest, they mentioned that they were sending Ozobots home with their students so that their students could explore Ozobot with their family and what they do at their house, kind of like a take on the class pet idea. That's really cute. Yeah. Yeah, well, we don't have any more questions, but there's so many resources on your website, and I'm wondering, did you say that there was a place that people who are creating their own activities can share them centrally with each other? Educators, are they talking to each other about what they're doing?
We don't have the actual community part up yet, but let me just go back to the website. And in the education website, under the lessons, there, if you scroll down, there is a Submit Lesson tab, and it just takes you to a form. Then you can fill out with your name, email address, and all your ideas. And we'll take a look at it. We'll contact everybody that submits an idea. Or you can just contact us directly, and I think you probably can distribute the email address. But if you go back here, I think there is, where is the, if you leave a message, actually.
You can,
where?
yeah, you can actually scroll
Karen,
to
you
the
know,
bottom.
right?
I do know this. You scroll to the bottom.
That's what
Contact us.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
there,
so we have general for if you want to reach out to either Julia or I, it's best if you actually reach out to the education email address, and that's ozoedu@ozobot.com. You can also, that's also on different pages under the educator section. So while you're scrolling through the education section, you'll see that pop up every once in a while. So you can just click on that and send us an email, and that goes directly to us. So if you have any questions, we can answer them for you.
That's great. That's really helpful. Thank you. And what about people who want to buy a whole bunch of Ozobots? What should they start with, and where should they go if they want to like go on to the next evolution?
So Tara coordinates all of that.
There are, since it is for education, there are educator discounts that you can take advantage of too. So if you are interested in getting another set for your chapter, go ahead and reach out to that ozoedu@ozobot.com email address, and it will go directly to me. Just ask us about those discounts and deals that we can get for you, so that we can upgrade them and get them into the chapters for you.
Awesome. That's great.
And the same, I think, also with any, if you need any more DIY skins or any of those supplies. So yeah, we usually have those as well, especially for education.
Markers, the DIY skins that we talked about. We have a new construction kit accessory that came out as well, and those are all offered to you at discounted prices. So we can definitely help you add those to your collection of Ozobots.
Oh, great. Okay, and they should email you at the edu email. Okay, that's fantastic. Awesome. Well, I'm sure we'll get some feedback from people after the webinar. We'll have it archived, and we are all certainly in touch, and our chapter leaders are in touch with us, so we'll keep you posted on how it's going, and hopefully they'll share some of their lessons online, because I'm sure they're doing really awesome things. I know they are. And we don't see any more questions, so I think this is, oh, yes. Let's see, another question. Oh, okay, Miriam. Yes, okay, so Miriam, a challenge Miriam said she gave her kids is to write their initials using at least 5 codes to write their initials. This usually leads to designs way beyond their initials. Also, I want to have tape around so they can connect their papers. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because they like to write long codes.
we found the computer paper kind of limits their creativity, so that's why we just always carry around that big roll of butcher paper. Someone was telling us that you can get them at IKEA.
Yes.
We found it in various places, just like 20-pound roll of butcher paper. We roll it out, and then the kids go crazy and have so much fun. So yeah.
Yes, that's a good point. Myra Herrera, who's another one of our chapter leaders and a teacher here in Los Angeles, was hoping to join us today to share her experiences, which she wasn't able to, unfortunately, because it's that time of year. But she said she does the same thing. She said basically her entire classroom is covered in butcher paper, like covered. And it's on the walls and everything, and they're just, you know, constantly, creating really cool stuff. So I hope to get some pictures and some lessons from her to share with you guys as well. And
pictures always for Facebook or Twitter. We always love to see them. So if you share them with us on there, that's great.
Absolutely. Great. Well, Julia, Tara, thank you so much. I appreciate you taking time. I'm sure this is going to be really helpful for our chapters who get to watch this later on. And it's really nice to be working with you. We're always grateful for everything you offer our community. They so appreciate it, and it lends so much to our mission of creative play and students really being able to take on ownership of their own learning in the classroom. So thank you for all your resources.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
And I'd just like to piggyback on that and say thank you so much for Julia and Tara for joining us today. And quickly, I actually got a chance to visit Myra Herrera's classroom a few months ago now, and she was doing a challenge with Ozobots. And I saw her classroom covered in butcher paper, and she was doing a challenge where I think she made like a freeway, and she was having groups of kids kind of work their Ozobots through the freeway that was basically the size of her classroom. And anytime and it was really cool. And anytime that the kids ran into a problem, like if the paper wasn't flat enough and the Ozobot wasn't going over it, she really was great about having them troubleshoot how they could improve their freeway in order for the Ozobots to travel over them. So it was a really cool way to see problem solving being addressed with the Ozobots, and so that was really neat to see in person. But again, I just wanted to say thanks to both of you. We really value our partnership with you, and we're super excited to be working with you guys this year, and hope that we can continue our partnership. And I thanks for sharing all these great lessons. I never realized how talented Ozobots are. I mean, they're taking vacations, and they're like theater actors. they're fashion shows.
Places.
It's pretty amazing. So thanks so much for sharing all of this with us. We're really lucky to be working with you guys.
Thank you so much.
Okay, take care. Thank you.
Take care, everyone. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.